dark of the night, whispers of deceit.
Shadows dance on the wall.
Secrets they repeat. A shadowed figure.
With eyes full of lies.
Hiding truths in the shadows where no one dares to pry. Uncover the truth. Let the lies come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows run. Break free from the chains that find us. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight. In the rain-soaked streets, under the moon's pale light, a crime unfolds with a twisted, sinister might. A knife in the dark, a scream that rings clear. Betrayal's cold hand in the heart of the deer. Through the fog and the mist, the truth we must see. In the shadows we find the answers we need.
Great song.
Uncover the truth, let the light come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows on. Break free from the chains and find the sun. Uncover the truth.
All right, that was great.
All right. So we're covering Mamdani, right? Oh no, sorry, we're not covering Mamdani. Just checking. We are covering the tragic story of Ray Nell Rice, also known as Ray Rice. Ray Rice was a legendary NFL running back in the 2000s who had his career tragically ended because of an incident of domestic violence. This had a massive ripple effect throughout professional sports, especially the NFL, who immediately changed their domestic violence policy, and other sports followed. But this was truly the event that started it all. And after it happened, Ray Rice never, and this was 2 years after winning a Super Bowl, he never took another snap, never got another carry, never even received a workout. His career was done at a very young age. Some say the prime. And that was it. And we're going to cover his story because it's just a crazy incident and situation and everything that ensued. Everyone blamed Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, for being reactionary. And I would tend to agree. So Ray Rice was actually born down here in New Rochelle, New York.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember because when I was growing up, everyone was pissed because Syracuse didn't take him. Syracuse didn't even recruit him, I believe, at the time, and everyone was furious about it. So what happened was yeah, that is a boo. His father, Calvin Reed, was killed in a drive-by shooting when Ray Rice was young. Ray's cousin, Myshawn Rice Nichols, was killed by a drunk driver when Ray Rice was 10. So when, he went through turmoil when he was born. He lost his dad, lost his cousin, could have gotten involved in gangs and went in a different direction, and he didn't. So he attended New Rochelle High School, and he played football for a legendary coach, which I'm sure Dave knows, Lou Di Rienzo. Is that how you say it?
Di Lorenzo?
Yeah. Have you heard of him or no?
No.
Okay. He was legendary in New York.
Okay.
It's Lou Di Rienzo.
Oh, Di Lorenzo. Yes, I do. I have heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you would. Yeah, he was a legendary coach in New York State. He was the star at this school. The last Iona New Rochelle Turkey Bowl football game, which had been waged every year since 1949, was played in Rice's sophomore season of 2002, when New Rochelle defeated them, the Gales, 53-6. Now, this was also huge, and I remember this. Ray Rice led his team to a state title as a junior in 2003 when they defeated Webster Schrader 32-6 at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. What is significant about Webster? That is where UConn star Brian Kozlowski attended as well at a different time. In Rice's senior year, now I remember this as well too, because Frank actually coached against this team. So New Rochelle lost to CBA, Christian Brothers Academy. Frank almost beat them. He was the defensive coordinator, and if he tells you the story, it's the greatest thing ever. Frank ran a defense like who's the Ravens coach? Marvin Lewis. He ran a defense like them. He was disguising coverages. He ran like 4 different coverages. He was blitzing from everywhere. And like they sacked, because CBA had that great quarterback, Greg Paulus.
Yes.
He was the one who went on to play at Duke basketball, and then he came back, played 1 year at Syracuse.
Yep,
But
I remember him.
Frank had like 7 sacks against him, and
Wow.
they if we lost, New Hartford lost to them, it would have been the biggest upset in the history of freaking New York State sports. We lost to them on a missed extra point. The holder dropped the ball, and we missed the extra point that would have tied the game and sent it into overtime. But that was huge anyway. So that was their senior year. New Rochelle lost to CBA. So you have 2 years where Ray Rice led his team to the state championship game. New Rochelle lost only 1 game in each of the 3 seasons that Ray Rice played varsity football. And he, to this day, I actually think it may have been broken, but he holds the state record for yards in a single game. He ran for 462 yards on 42 carries in 2004. I do think that was broken by Mike Hart from Onondaga, but I have to double check. So now this is even more interesting. He attended Rutgers, and he played for Greg Schiano. And everyone was furious. Syracuse lost a top in-state recruit to Rutgers. And this is when the Big East was a prominent conference. Syracuse always dismantled Rutgers. And Greg Schiano was the one who came in and turned them around. And he recruited Ray Rice heavily when, the second he got there. So he 2001 was Shiano's first year. So he recruited Ray Rice when he was a sophomore and that's why I think he got him. So he played at Rutgers from 2005 to 2007. And his freshman year, Rutgers had its first winning season in 13 years.
Right.
And played in their second bowl game ever in the program's 136-year history. And then this was the year I remember vividly. 2006, the Scarlet Knights won a record-tying 11 games and registered the school's highest ever season-ending national poll ranking. They were ranked 12th in the country. And I remember that year because they played a huge game against South Florida. I don't know if you remember this.
I was there.
You were there?
No, wait. When they I was there when they played Louisville.
Okay. Well, both of them were huge. South Florida was ranked very, very high because they just beat.
Oh,
yes.
Why?
Yes, they were ranked 2. Yes. And Rutgers beat them. And I remember the Rutgers down the goalpost. Greatest scene I ever saw.
Yes.
So,
great scene.
This was unusual as well. As a true freshman, Ray Rice started. He was a starting tailback. He had 1,120 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns during his freshman campaign. And he had 217 yards against UConn and 195 yards against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, his sophomore year, 1,794 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns. His rushing totals set a Rutgers single season record, which still stands today. And his backfield partner, now let's see if you remember this. Do you remember who Ray Rice's fullback was?
Yes, Brian Leonard.
Brian Leonard. Yeah. And Leonard was another one Syracuse took crap for not recruiting. And Leonard considered entering the NFL draft in 2006, but he stayed for his senior year and took on a less prominent role in the offense, which aided Ray Rice in his rise to stardom. Rice was a finalist for the Maxwell Award and finished 7th in the Heisman Trophy voting.
Wow.
He was the Big East Offensive Player of the Week 3 times in 2007. And all 3 times he rushed for over 200 yards. It was against North Carolina, South Florida, and then Pitt. He ended his sophomore season with 170 yards on 24 carries with 1 touchdown during the inaugural Texas Bowl to give Rutgers its first bowl victory ever. In a 37-10 win over Kansas State. And then he was also named the MVP of the game. So he just had a monumental college career, right, especially for a running back. And he was truly the catalyst that turned Rutgers around at the time. And then, his final game was in 2008. He played in the 2nd annual International Bowl in Toronto, which I actually went to and loved. Not that one, but I went when UConn played in it. Rice, he ran for a school record, 280 yards, 4 touchdowns, and they defeated Ball State 52-30. He had the longest run of his career in that game, 90 yards. and he also won an MVP award for that performance. So his college numbers are absolutely ridiculous. He did this in just 3 years. 2006, 2005, 2006, 2007. And he left as a junior after his junior year in 2007. But he still holds the record, 4,926 yards rushing overall. That's a school record. The touchdown record, 49 touchdowns. He also holds that as well. So he goes into the NFL. Now, it was somewhat disappointing, but in 2008, he was picked by the Ravens in the second round. People thought that he should have been a first-round pick, but people questioned because of his size. He was only 5'8", I believe, and because he played at Rutgers in the Big East, people questioned, how he would do against the tougher competition, which I think he proved when, in some of those bowl games. But either way, he made his first career start week 1. He was the starting running back. He worked his way in, and he started his NFL career hot. He was hot. He split some carries with Willis McGahee, who was the starter, and he finished his rookie season with 546 yards rushing and 33 receptions. So 2009, he wins the starting running back job, and that is when he takes over. He finished the season with 1,300 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. He averaged 5.3 yards a carry, and he was a Pro Bowl. He was selected to play in the Pro Bowl. He had, I think it was the longest run in Ravens history. He had an 83-yard touchdown run in the playoffs, the wild card round against the Patriots, which they ended up losing. So 2010 rolls around, and this is when Baltimore dominates again. Again, with Ray Rice is the starting running back. They have a tremendous season. They go on a run, and he finishes 2010 with 1,220 yards rushing, 556 yards receiving, and he was incredible. Okay, so I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Okay, so this was when it was. So again, he played well in 2011. It was 2012. 2012, he signed his contract extension. This is when he got paid. He got a 5-year, $35 million deal, which in this day and age would be great for a running back because running backs don't get paid anymore. And 2012 was the year the brothers played in the Super Bowl, which, the coach of the Ravens, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh was the coach of the 49ers. They met in the Super Bowl, February 3rd, 2013. I remember watching it. This was the Super Bowl. You remember they had the blackout?
Yes.
Yeah. So he had 20 carries, 59 yards, 4 catches, 19 yards, and the Ravens won the Super Bowl. Now, what happened after this was Ray Rice played kind of hurt in 2013. He didn't have a typical Ray Rice year. He only averaged 3.1 yards a carry.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's when things, started slowing down. He had his worst year rushing since his rookie year. he only had 660 yards rushing. So what happened was in 2014, Ray Rice and his now wife, Janae Palmer, were arrested and charged with assault.
Okay.
They were in Atlantic City, if you recall. And, they were both wasted. And they were arguing. And then, if you recall, they got into an elevator. And they were fighting pretty hard in the elevator. And
I thought he knocked her out and dragged her into the elevator. Oh, or no, after.
No, it was after. What happened was Janae spit in Ray Rice's face. Oh. And that set him off. And he knocked the bejesus out of her. Yeah. Now, there was a question of whether it was a punch or a slap. And TMZ initially posted the video of Rice and Palmer hitting each other in the elevator. Yeah. And then Rice punching her in the face, causing her to fall, hit her head, and lose consciousness. And then it showed Rice dragging her out of the elevator. So this was in February. Now, the timeline is crucial to how all this happened. So the Ravens issued a statement immediately calling, Ray Rice his domestic violence arrest, because he was arrested, a serious matter. And it was handled by the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office, basically Atlantic City. In September of 2014, law enforcement officially showed the Associated Press the video of the entire incident with the audio in the elevator, which was longer than the video released by TMZ. But what happened was in March of 2014, March 27th, so this is 2 weeks after it happened, a grand jury indicted Rice on third-degree aggravated assault. The max sentence for this was a possible jail sentence of 3 to 5 years and a fine of $15,000. So what happened was 6 weeks after the incident, Janae married Ray Rice in March of 2014 because they believed that getting married would offer protection, because you have spousal privilege. You can't testify against your husband or whatever. So for the incident, Roger Goodell initially suspended Rice for 2 games of the 2014 season. 2 games. And this was on July 25th, 2014. Now, people were up in arms later on because the incident happened in March. He's indicted in March. And the NFL doesn't get involved, doesn't investigate, doesn't do anything until July. So what happened was the criminal charges against Ray Rice were dropped because he agreed to undergo court supervised counseling. And then in a news conference announcing longer suspension lengths for future domestic violence incidents, Roger Goodell comes out and he says he didn't get it right during when he decided Ray Rice's punishment. Now, they cooperated completely. And this is where it gets a little fishy, because Ray Rice and Janae both went to NFL headquarters, and from everything that I've read and heard, he met with John Harbaugh. He met with the general manager back then, which was Ozzie Newsome. And they said that he was completely honest about what happened. He didn't hold back. He told them the truth. And his attorney advised him. He's like, just tell him exactly what happened. Don't sugarcoat it. Just get it out there. So he did it. And then he goes to the NFL offices, meets with Roger Goodell and his team, and he claimed that he told Roger Goodell exactly what happened. He didn't minimize what he did. He said that the only discrepancy was whether it was a punch or an open hand slap. But he did admit to hitting her, knocking her out, pulling her out of the elevator. So Roger Goodell only suspended him 2 games. Now, after this happened, there was a massive protest for the Ravens and the NFL. People were pissed.
Yeah, I remember
that he only got 2 games. And I believe that the suspension was initially increased to 4 games. And then after that, they still were getting hell. And then the video finally gets released. So Rice had started going through training camp and everything, just thinking he was going to miss a couple games and be right back. The entire video gets released. Roger Goodell comes back and suspends Ray Rice for the entire season, I believe. It was either the entire season or it was the entire season. So then what happens is the Ravens unfortunately release Ray Rice.
Right.
Flat out. Release him. And this is a guy who is on the whatever the name of the stadium was. I think it was M&T Bank. He was on the wall of the stadium representing the team. He was in commercials for M&T Bank. He did a ton of charitable work, going to hospitals. He did Make-A-Wishes. He did a ton of stuff. And then Baltimore just cut him loose. So, and he showed text messages basically from, I think it was Ozzie Newsome. He showed text messages saying that, hey, listen, when this dies down, or no, I'm sorry, it was the owner, Steve Biscotti. When this dies down, you always have a home here. We'll figure it out. That never happened. So in January of 2015, Rice sued Baltimore and the NFL for wrongful termination, and he wanted his $3.5 million based on the claim that the Ravens imposed a second punishment upon him by terminating his employment.
Probably. So I wonder if there's a clause in every NFL contract that conduct unbecoming of a player.
There is. If there's a clause in every NFL contract that you can be terminated for cause.
Yeah,
which is like morality or whatever.
Basically, if you do something that embarrasses the team or the NFL, which obviously is in every contract.
Correct. But his grievance was the Ravens basically imposed a second punishment upon him
I remember
after he was already suspended for 2 games. The NFL made the decision. They saw a portion of the video. They had his testimony. They had his wife's testimony. They testified separately. And everything that I've read was he was completely honest about what he did. And he was remorseful. And he didn't try to hide it. He took responsibility, accountability. Now, that doesn't excuse what he did. It doesn't make it any better. But he stepped up as a man, and he took accountability for what he did.
He was a product of the Me Too movement.
That's when it didn't even get started then, but that's what really transformed everything. Because the NFL doubled down on domestic violence after that happened.
Right.
So
Which they never cared about before.
No, they never did.
And
they never did. That's
they
why
should have. They should have, but they didn't.
Yeah, they let it go. They had always let it go. So he sued. He won. Well, he didn't win. He got a settlement, but he got the majority of the contract that he had signed. So this was in 2014. He tried for years to get a workout, get anything from an NFL team. He even considered, trying to go to Canada. But nothing transpired really from it. And unfortunately, he officially, I believe, retired in 2018. So, and to this day, he's only 36 years old.
Wow.
And he never played another snap after the 2013 season. And, he's really dedicated himself to being an advocate against the domestic violence. He's been an advocate for charity work. He's been an advocate to mentor kids, especially kids who come from bad situations, who could get into that gang life. But he for the most part, he's kept a very low profile. He funds scholarships to Rutgers. He has an endowed scholarship. He gets involved at local hospitals in Boston with people who have trouble paying their bills. He works at a Baltimore women's shelter, and he provides guidance and advice to couples who are struggling. And he donates a lot of his time and a lot of his money to try to help people, because his career was truly cut short because of everything that happened. You're talking about a guy who wins a Super Bowl, and then he gets because he wasn't paid a ton because he was a second round draft pick. he gets his $35 million contract, 5 years in 2012, I believe it was. So they win the Super Bowl in 2012. 2012, they won the Super Bowl. He gets his contract. He plays 2013, and that was it. He never played again. And so you're talking about a guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He played 6 years in the NFL. And I would argue, I still believe he's 30. He's 38 years old right now. So 38 right now, and it's 2025. So you're talking about a guy who's 27 years old when he lost his NFL career. When arguably he was going into the prime of it, and he finally got paid. And he was always known as a great guy, a great representative of the Ravens organization. He was loved by the coaches, the general manager, ownership, and it was all taken away in a second. And that just shows you one wrong move, one bad mistake. It can happen in a blink of an eye, and it completely will change your life. And that's what happened to him. I mean, he was out in Atlantic City, drunk, in an elevator with his wife, fiance at the time, arguing.
Right.
And he smacked the crap out of her. Now, you know, if you get spit on, that's something that can set people off. And again, I'm not trying to defend him in any way. I'm just saying, like, we saw recently Dana White from the UFC. Dana White was on film smacking the shit out of his wife.
Yeah.
You know what happened to him?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Ray Rice was a product of the Me Too movement. He was a product of
it's not the Me Too movement.
Failed to address things in the past. The things like Ray Lewis and all those things that built up over the years, and then they ended up coming down because they had video evidence on Ray Rice. I think
yes, it wasn't until the video was released. You're right.
He deserved to be punished, but there was obviously collusion in the fact that they said nobody should bring Ray Rice in.
Yeah,
and that's disgusting.
100%.
Lick your cup. I almost threw up.
That's not true.
I almost threw up watching you lick that. I think I threw up.
Why? Why can't I lick? It's just some whipped cream. What's wrong with that?
Can you lick it off show?
Well, I think it entertains people. But no,
I think Ray got. He deserved to be punished. Did he deserve to be double punished? I don't agree with that. Did he deserve to never have a shot again? I'm not sure. They said an example of him. I think
he should have gotten a shot again.
I think he should have gotten a shot again. But I understand why. But I think that if he showed remorse, his wife stayed with him, then I think there would be. Yeah.
If you read the news from it, he claims he told Roger Goodell every little detail of what happened during that incident. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He didn't minimize what he did. He claimed that he told Roger Goodell he knocked her unconscious. And Roger Goodell suspended him for 2 games. So he's going through training camp, and they're just planning for, we're going to have 2 games without Ray. And then the entire video gets released. All hell breaks loose. Roger Goodell suspends him for the season, and the Ravens distance themselves from him. They release him, and he never gets another shot again. And I don't believe that's fair. I believe that serving a 1-year suspension, he did a ton of charity work, working at a women's shelter, going to the hospital, paying hospital bills for people who were struggling. I think he paid his penance. I think he deserved another shot. The guy was 27 years old, and he only played 6 years in the NFL. He brought the Ravens a Super Bowl, and that changed everything. Like Antonio Brown for the Patriots and Steelers, he was a pain. He got domestic violence issues. He, was suspended, and he came back, wins a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Jameson Winston, what he did at Florida State, the alleged rape of the girl that went to trial, and he was acquitted. I don't think he received punishment from the NFL. So the Me Too movement really started in 2017, I believe. But this was before that. I don't think they handled it properly. I think it was an overreaction because of the protests and the media reaction. I don't think he should have lost his career and livelihood over it.
Yep.
I mean, do you think that?
I don't think he should have. I think that after he served his punishment, you evaluate it and then give him an opportunity again.
He had an opportunity.
The NFL was changing.
Yes.
In that they were trying to appeal to women. They're trying to appeal to, and they probably felt that was something that would inhibit it. It wasn't fair per se. Ray made a major mistake. It looked even worse on film when you see it. It's terrible on film.
No, it does. It does.
Bottom line is, he probably should have gotten a second chance because he hadn't been a problem. But we don't know the details or the ins and outs of all this. So, but I think that he probably should have gotten at least an opportunity to prove himself again. But the NFL, that's how brutal it is. They cut you out immediately when you are not
next man up.
Yeah, or they pick and choose those battles too, and you don't know whether you're on the front side of that one or the back side of it. And it was probably unfair, but it was also, that's one of those mistakes that probably can't be made. That's the only way.
There's only a few guys who are above the shield who they will go to bat for.
I think if anybody did that with video, it looks so bad that there's
it did look bad. Yeah,
it looks so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when you see him pulling her unconscious body out of the elevator,
I'm up on the air as to whether he should have been back. I think he probably should have been allowed back. But
he was allowed back. I'm saying nobody gave him an opportunity.
Well, obviously behind closed doors, they're like, hey, that to me. I mean, they don't claim collusion, but there obviously some level of collusion.
Oh, there was 100%. That's why he won. Well, he got a settlement from his lawsuit for wrongful termination. Colin Kaepernick got a collusion payment because they really did collude against him. But Ray Rice, I just think because he was a first-time offender, He got the charges dropped because he got into a diversion program. I thought that he was a martyr. I believe he deserved the punishment he got. I don't believe he deserved a lifetime ban. No guy should ever put hands, be physical with a woman, no matter what the situation.
Correct.
They spit on you, piss on you, shit on you, whatever. You don't put hands on a woman.
You got to get out of there.
And I know that he was drunk and inhibited, and that's not an excuse either. And he snapped, and he did that, and it changed the course of how the league handles domestic violence now. I mean, now there's zero tolerance. I mean, you get guys with Deshaun Watson, the massage massage thing, he gets an 11-game suspension. He gets rewarded. He has 20-something massage therapists come forward and sue him civilly. He gets rewarded. He gets traded from Cleveland or from Houston to Cleveland and gets the first ever guaranteed NFL contract.
Yeah.
$240 million. And now Cleveland's obviously kicking themselves for paying him that because they're stuck with him and he keeps getting hurt and he hasn't played well. But that shows you the value. They see a franchise quarterback who can take him to the next level. They're willing to put up with that. Ray Rice didn't get that chance because running backs were a dime a dozen.
That's true. That's the other truth. Yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's just sad how it was handled. And, it's sad that it happened to him because, again, he was a good guy. It was a first-time offense. And I wish it had gone.
You think he was a good guy, at least?
He was a good guy. I mean, everything you read about him, he did charity. He done a ton of charity work. He giving his time and money to people in need, volunteering at a women's shelter. Yeah, I do. So it was an unfortunate incident, and it changed the way the NFL handles domestic violence. And it was just sad for him. So that is our Bloodlines and Betrayal, the Ray Rice story. 38 years old. His career ended at 27. And
crazy.
That's how it happened. So for Coach Schumann, when life hits, you got to hit back. I agree. When life hits, you got to hit back. And we are hitting back, which I love. We are hitting back with a vengeance. So just remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.